welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily, and we're going to get into a conversation in, the community conversations that are so important for us to have, because a lot of the times we have this whole, either an Accra view of things or a Ghana view of things, and we don't drill down to the details, which are very, very important. And so a lot of the times you'll find that a lot of challenges are happening in little communities, and that's why this segment is important. So we shine the light on some of those challenges happening. Now, last week we had a fire at the Kejetia Market, and there was a whole rollout of frantic, desperate moves to try and figure out what went on there. The fire service was telling us one thing. The Minister of Local Government said they were shutting down the market indefinitely. Then the Vice President comes out and says the market will reopen today. Let's take a look at this report by our colleague, Edward Opomafo. We'll come back. And the report, by our colleague Edward Opomafo, and then we'll come back and we'll get into this conversation.
It has been a difficult moment for traders who ply their activities within the new Kejetia Market following the recent fire incidents. The market was closed for days, with management announcing an extension of the closure for another 1 week, which wasn't received well by traders. The arrival of the Vice President has, however, changed the mood of the traders as he's announced the reopening of the markets on Tuesday.
The President said, investigation, who said, Obi Eduhani, the shop. Now, Otto, or gas. Sir, Ohona, a general shares. Oho, Yaben, one so Nipaton chemicals, carbide, turpentine, any gunpowder in a Ben Entina, a general, a shares, who said explosions so ever. Nihu ho, Munina, said, Mubedia dance, said, fire service, any nano, Omuye at because Omutimi stop a jano, now 33 shops out of 8,000 now a jano for 80,
the Vice President has assured the affected traders of government support. He also noted that government will strictly work with the recommendations of the committee that will be set up.
The President Yakasa and I pay before I was saying, country was said, he said, shops are Muhiamwa, and so empty. A buying pressure report no they are Buamo, report investigation in our bar, recommendations at the age man.
For the leadership of the traders, they've expressed excitement about the new developments.
Well, it was good news to us traders because we had received a communication from the board of directors that they were extending the closure of the market to another week. That forced the traders to also issue a counter trade statement yesterday. And luckily for us, by the powers of the Vice President, he has ordered that the market be reopened to the general public tomorrow in the morning. And we are very grateful to the Vice President. Just as he said that they are going to support the reconstruction of the affected area, and then affected traders, we will take the Vice President by his word and push forward using the necessary protocols to ensure that that support reaches our very people who were affected. We are pleased with that as well. It has now been established that the cause of the fire was from a woman who was cooking in the shop. It behoves on we, the leadership, to collaborate with the management, that the do's and don'ts within the market are adhered to by every trader in the market. And we are going to ensure that the management works strictly ensuring the bylaws within the market.
All right, so there you have it, a report by our colleague Fatih Aminu Ibrahim. We'll be speaking to her shortly to get some updates this morning as to whether the market is open, what's going on, is there brisk business, what about the side that has been burnt, what's going on there with those shops that have been burnt, and so on and so forth. All right, so Frema, I don't know what you make of this, but last week when the fire happened, I saw Minister Obi Amwa there on behalf of local government, and he was saying that they were going to close the shop indefinitely.
Yeah.
You know, so with the Vice President coming in now and saying the shops will be open today,
Yeah.
and he was speaking yesterday, you know, it almost felt like an edict, or you know, like a veto power type of overruling that says whatever has been said up to now, I'm overriding all of it. Whatever you have to do to open the shop tomorrow, open it tomorrow, kind of situation. You know, I'm a little concerned about that. Let me explain why. It's great for the 7,000 plus shops that were not touched.
Yeah.
Right. It's great for them.
Yeah.
Right. But here's my issue. My issue is there were lapses
Yes.
that caused the fire. Number one, we hear it was a lady who was cooking in her shop.
Yeah.
Initially, there was a suggestion of someone who was selling carbide. Okay, that was last week.
Yeah.
Now, whether it was so when you say a lady cooking in the shop doesn't automatically lead to burning down shops. It's not automatic.
Yeah.
It means there were mistakes made.
Of course.
You do understand what I'm
The
saying?
cylinder kind of.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, a few questions I have. One of them is, what are the protocols for fire mitigation, which clearly were absent, right, in the market when the fire service people had to come from the outside? Because according to fire service, they had put everything in place,
Yeah.
but there was no water in the hydrants.
But you know the market.
But the
managers
market
have
has
also come
managers.
to say that the sprinkler was working, and they use it. You know, so I think
But
that.
it didn't go off. The sprinkler didn't go off during the fire.
So for me, I think that first and foremost,
Yeah.
planning is very, very important when it comes to projects of this magnitude.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a market as huge as the
It's a
Kejetia
very, very huge market.
Exactly.
Almost
you understand? 8,000
shops.
And
That's
I
massive.
expect some kind of proper demarcation and proper grouping
Yeah.
of like products, you know, to be in this area. So, for instance, you take this lane.
Okay.
I've not really gone through the
Yeah.
whole place, but I think that per the reports that came and what one woman who spoke to Citi News when the fire came,
Yeah.
you know, mentioned that everyone sells anything at everywhere.
Yeah.
So, for instance,
Which is what we
I
suspected.
I sell maybe foods.
Yeah.
The next person sells carbide.
Yeah.
The next person sells
Electrical something,
appliances.
yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
this is
It's very haphazard.
Exactly.
It's very random. And it
So
just shows
it's
poor management.
and planning. So it's very, very difficult for you to be able to educate people on what they have to do, what they
Yeah.
don't have to do. So,
Yeah.
for instance, if I sell sachet water and I feel I want to cook in my shop,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my shop
It's
and
my
how
shop,
safe
and, yeah.
it is for me inside there,
Yeah.
forgetting that the very next shop is tap and
Affects
time.
me as well.
You get it? The
Yeah.
very next person, trader, is selling tap and time. So you may want to be extra, extra careful, but the whole thing is mixed up.
Yeah.
You know, and so you really can't present, the do's and don'ts for like this section of the public, this side, you can't do this, you can't do that, and all that. You remember not long ago we had even issues with the Kejetia Market flooding and all that because of their pipe issues and how things were done. Exactly. I think that there have been series of troubles and problems, challenges associated with this whole project that have not really seen a proper address to these kind of things, you understand? Now, I think that it was a step in the right direction for the Vice President to say that, look, open the market for those whose shops were not affected. Because we have been in this country when we've seen a lot of things like that. The first thing we say is, okay, let's close down, let's back on an investigations. And it takes years for us to even finish with the whole thing and open the market to the people. And so I think that, but I want to believe that this is leadership issues. And for the leadership, for the government not to appear as confused and not knowing what they are doing and decisions disjointed and everything, I really want to believe that whatever the Vice President said was in reference and consultation with the local government ministry. Because if the local government minister is saying something else, the Vice President is saying something else, the board is saying something else. The management is saying something, the traders are saying something else, It makes the whole thing a bit cumbersome. Who should we take? Who shouldn't we take? And if the local government ministry is saying that close the shops, they probably are also giving this directive per the briefing they've had.
From the fire service.
From the fire service, So on what grounds is the Vice President saying that go ahead, open it? And that is why I'm saying that I want to believe that talks had gone on behind closed doors, and then we've taken the decision that, okay, we think it's safe for those whose shops were not affected to go back to work. Now, if government says that, the Vice President says that government will support the shops, traders whose shops have been destroyed. What kind of support?
What does that mean?
When is that coming? Is it just a political talk? Is it really what is going to happen? What is the criteria? So if I was selling electrical appliances, as against somebody who was selling textiles, what do we stand to benefit? Because don't forget that there were also reports that the insurance since February has not even been renewed for the whole Kejetia market. What does this mean? Are we going to be given some kind of financial support? Are we going to be be allocated to new shops? What really, do they stand to benefit? Now, beyond making this announcement, what is the process? What next? So for those whose shops have been affected, who do they go and talk to? The Vice President has said this. What is the management of the Kejetia market also saying? Where do we start from? Okay, so the Vice President says that tomorrow morning when I wake up, who should I go and talk to? Or where does the help start from? In the meantime, are we going to be giving some kind of maybe a satellite market to go operate in until this market is put back in shape, our shops are put back in shape? What does that sentence mean?
Well, I'm also very curious about moving forward, what the management is going to do as far as the various non-existent fire mitigation issues and all of that are concerned. Remember that from what we heard last week, the entire market operates on 1 meter. I don't even understand what that's about.
And they've been calling for individual meters for quite some time.
I don't understand what that's about. At least in the worst case scenario, block by block, row by row, there should be a meter that controls different rows. This sort of thing, that for me, the whole discussion rests with the board and management of the place. It's like, what are you doing?
I think that we just don't have to look at the beauty of the structure and everything, but there are basic things that we need to attend to. And we've been joined by our Ashanti regional correspondent, Fatih Aminu Ibrahim, who is currently at the Kejetia Market. Hello, Fatih. Thank you for joining us.
Hello,
good morning. So I want to believe that you are the Kejetia Market, right? So where exactly are you and what is happening there now?
Okay. Currently, I'm at exactly where the incident happened, where about 33 shops have been totally destroyed by the fire that happened. That's destroyed a number of shops here at the new Kejetia Market. Over here, when you come, you see a number of the affected victims here who are still trying to, remove some of the things that they think they can save and then work with. And because the shop has currently been open for business to go on, others whose shops have not been destroyed, they are also here trying to go about their normal business activities here at the place.
Right now, who is leading this charge? Do we have the management there? Is it fire services, NADMO? Who exactly is leading this charge?
Please, can you repeat that?
No, I'm asking, for the people whose shops have been affected, what exactly is happening? Do we have the NADMO there? Do we have the market managers there? What really is happening?
Okay, over here, even though the management of the facility, they are here, they are in the market, but they are not at the affected area. They are actually around the administration area trying to ensure that everything goes on smoothly. But it's only some of the affected people, some of the victims of the fire, who are still trying to move around because of what happened on Wednesday. You come here, your shop has been destroyed, and then you see some other shop owners here going about their business, hoping that maybe but for the fire, you'd also be here equally going about with your business. So they are here, and for them, the mood is not too good for them. But for those whose shops were not affected by last week's fire, they are actually in a good mood because the market has been open for them to go on with their business activities. I have some of the shoppers here, those who are here to go about their business because the market has been open for them. We want to speak to some of them to tell us how they feel. You see, last Sunday there was a communique by the management of the facility indicating that they wanted to further extend the closure of the shop after closing it down for 4 days for security reasons until when the vice president got here yesterday and then announced that the shop should be open for them today because the fire service explained to them the cause of the fire. So for those who have not been affected, they are actually excited, unlike those whose shops have been destroyed. They are not really excited about the whole thing. I have one of the traders here whose shop has not been affected to tell us how she feels about the reopening of the shop. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Please, Sion.
Na 4 o'clock around. Today, I said shop na 2 hours so maybe omo ton kete ne ho agi wom. Ti agi wom, ana ye nyina ye di mika ni be gina nchan. Ti be gina nchan ha no, ana ye hwede nyame beye. The who ya say ato second shop, ato third shop, afe na ato say na eja no eba. Na ye nyina eja ye nwema ho kora na edi mirika. Eko gina step no so say ye hwe. Ti enim say ha nyina ahye. But ya nwema na de do, nwema na bi bebre ahye asai. Ama bi so ahye. Nti ye say no, ye sra ban say o meboa ye. Fi so nwema na de ma time wom, obi wo ni ani da so bi e bi mfiri ba bi ama. Edwume ya na one ne mma ne kunu mu nyina omudidi hu nti aban ye hwe no se obeye bibi afa ho amaye se omobeye ha se ye kura na eni kwa se de amanfo sikika se de se bosumi num bosumi nsia echi no yetena fie bebre sa na ebe ha ye nyame enim no kure na ebe ha ye nti ye hwe se aban be ye no enim ya amaye sa beto ye dwuma so ne ye bi akoya no enye bi ahwe ye ma
na me pacho mo shops na han mo so mo shops ne kan baby asese
me de na to so mie no nyema de heat akeka nyema no ama bebre asese ti bebre wo ho aye tutu agu kakra na ebenya wo me no so
na enwa vice president ne by no ka say committee number set I investigated the CE no omu ya report on the ba number he no mo de aye adwuma na emo bi wo ho no mo de ama omo a omo ne ma asese and then I'll do
me enura no me betwen saa na me call nti obesi mechi ti ma nte de o kan ye
na me ka say omo say investigation omo ye wie na report ne ba emo abi e wo so omo de ma omo a omo ne ma asenyi na ombeboa na
ye hwe omo so omo kan nti ye so ye hwe so am omo so omo betimi aye ne sa pepepe amaye
na mpacho ene da say ana bibi won ma person ka fa. Okay, so she says she's one of the affected persons here who, even though her shop has not completely been destroyed, but she's saying that some of her wares have been destroyed by the fire, and then their hope is that the government will ensure that the support that they have promised them will get to them as early as possible. And she was also talking about the fact that she's hearing some rumors that the areas that the shops have been destroyed will be closed down for some months, and then her hope is that will not happen as it will really affect them. I have another victim here victim of the fire, who also tell us what she make of the vice president's promise yesterday. Na me patron so a victim and I didn't see then I bet me a catch Citi.
Oh, yes, we are near my crack home there. By yet babies.
Now shop.
A shopping.
I didn't see a now Wahano.
Ah, no, me or for more.
And I say, and a vice president nearby and your kind or Uti be a na then.
Dear Mamma Hankata. Mamma Hakura.
Now I didn't say so much beats me behind my Nawaba.
I mean, you have a corner frame. No, mam buy.
And they say, Mwaba importe pan and Mupe free by home.
Oh, I'm one of the say, near my can with this and go back to my boy to be my dear candy budget.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Patricia, she's also one of the victims of the fire who also want the government to support them. So this is currently what's happening here at the new Kejetia Market where the fire incident happened.
All right. Now, Fatih, I wanted to find out from you. I have two questions. The first one is the fire service did say last week that the market managers had come to them for a renewal of their fire certificate and that they hadn't gone ahead and renewed it because there were lapses in the market. Now, with the immediate opening of the market today, does it mean that the market has been opened without a fire certificate? Is that where we are?
Okay. We are actually where the fire happened. But then yesterday when the vice president was speaking, he mentioned the fact that the regional fire service explained to him the actual cause of the fire. He mentioned that it wasn't an electrical problem as they suspected. Even though, yes, the fire service denied renewing the safety, the license of the market because of some structural integrities that they mentioned and then some electrical mistakes that they wanted them to address, which they are yet to do that. But then when the vice president was speaking, he mentioned that the incident was not as a result of an electrical problem, but because someone was rather cooking here using a gas cylinder and the person closed the place, leaving the fire on, and then which heated the shop. And unfortunately, around the place the person was cooking, they sell combustible materials. And so when the fire started, because of what they sell around that place, it escalated and then leading to what we witnessed on Wednesday. So yes, even though there are some issues that must be addressed within the market, from the reports of the fire service, with what the vice president explained to the traders yesterday, the shop, they can actually open the shop for business activities to go on while they check the other things as well.
All right, so it looks as though, at least for those who have their shops intact, they are very happy and they're very excited. I am rather concerned about the entire management of the space. Where do the individual shops have fire extinguishers, or they're just depending on that fire hydrant in the place there? Are there sprinklers in every shop, or are there sprinklers on corridors? For me, it's more about the bigger conversation of, in 3 years' time, we should not come back to this place where the same thing happens again, and then this time 50 shops get burnt. It shouldn't happen. And so for me, that's really what bothers me, and the fact that.
Dave, can you please repeat that? I'm struggling to hear.
So I'm saying that, for me, my concerns are more about post this opening. What are the mitigation measures that the fire service is putting in place? That the management is making sure that this incident will not repeat itself in a couple of years to come. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. For me, that's my concern, yes. And the fact that the entire place is sharing 1 meter, that's also another problem, So I don't know if you have any thoughts regarding what the management is saying moving forward.
When we spoke to the management of the facility when the incident happened somewhere last week, asking him about some of the concerns that the fire service raised, he debunked some of the issues, and then he mentioned that yes, the sprinklers the fire hydrants, most of the things that they've put in place to ensure that when there's an incident like this, it doesn't escalate. He mentioned that yes, they have all of them here and they are actually working. However, even though they are supposed to be automatic, they had to put it off at a point because when they leave it on all the time, it gets hot and they think that will not be the best for the market. So yes, everything here is working according to the management of the facility. The sprinklers and all other things that are supposed to work to ensure that when a fire incident happens, it doesn't escalate. According to the management, they are here and they are working. However, they can't leave it on all the time because at a point it gets hot. That was why they had to put it off.
All right.
Yes, so that was what the management told us when we spoke to him about some of the concerns the management of the facility, the fire service actually raised.
Okay. Fatih, thank you. Thank you for the update. We appreciate your time. Thank you. So that was our colleague, Fatih Ibrahim. She brought us the earlier report and then also giving us an update. And it looks like brisk business is back at the Kejetia Market. Remember, I'm troubled.
Why?
There are sprinkler systems that operate in large capacity buildings for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know under what circumstances these sprinklers are operating and what kind of sprinklers these are, that the management feels so concerned that they will overheat. And so they turn them off. You turn off a sprinkler, it baffles me because fire doesn't necessarily warn you that I'm coming at 5 a.m.
Yes.
So turn it off,
Yeah.
and then when it's 4:30, you can turn it back on. Do you understand? And the sprinkler system is meant to prevent this kind of a situation. So when you turn it off, I'm struggling.
I get you.
I wish I had a member of the management, to talk to directly, because what's the rationale? A sprinkler system is a fire mitigating system. One of the most basic ones that is automated. Do you understand? Because if you say fire extinguisher, that one, it has to be a human being getting involved, right? But a sprinkler, why are you turning it off? Is it overheats? I don't understand that.
But you see, for me, I think that in this country, certain things, look, when you look at the questions that the traders have been raising, okay, that's quite a tall list of questions that they are putting before the Citi Limited, the market limited, the management. And I think that sometimes it looks like we just enter into a certain business space purely because of the profit that we'll make out of it. That, okay, so we've built a market, we've allocated a thing to the
we have collected people's money.
Collected the money.
And that's what matters to us.
Now your life is yours to manage, I think that sometimes basic things that we need to put in place, basic things and these things are not just for decorations, it's not just for satisfying, institutions and then we move on. Okay, so the fire service will come and check that there are extinguishers. Okay, so we take it. The extinguishers are there. They'll come and check, do you have sprinklers? Yes, we take the sprinklers are there. But the real functions, of these materials that we put in place, it looks like, look, nobody can be bothered. You get it. And especially for a market that is not well demarcated, you really have to make sure that preventive measures are really top notch. So if you have the sprinklers in place, and we turn them off, knowing that this is a market where we sell combustibles, somebody can be cooking. Look, the next person is selling gas cylinders, the next person is selling carbide and turpentine and stuff like that, the next person is selling fabrics, the next person is selling electrical appliances. And basic, disaster preventive measures and tools are not there, or they are there but they are just cosmetic. They are there that just present themselves as just satisfying and taking all the boxes. Then there's a problem. How come the Kejetia Market, as new as it is, had issues with the pipelines?
Yeah.
And people are in court for
plumbing.
that. Do you get it? Now, who gave the certification for the market to be in operation? What did we check to make sure that, okay, this is fit for purpose? What did we really go through? Is it just because whoever is managing has some kind of powers behind them and so they can do stuff their own way and nothing really will happen? Yeah. Are people being protected? Are people being shielded? You know, with this that has happened, are people going to be surcharged? Who is going to be held responsible? And what happens to the people whose goods, you know, people whose goods have been destroyed? What really happens to them? I mean, when you have issues like this, where do you even go to in this country? Look, there are a lot of issues that we really need to pay attention to.
I think the traders need to sue the management. But
look, you see, what I'm saying is,
that's what I think.
Others are in court.
Yeah.
How swift is even this whole court processes? Do you get it? Well, those people whose wares and shops were destroyed because of the pipelines issues are still in court.
Yeah.
Now the fire people are also going to go to court. Do you get it? So my point is, when are we even going to see through the end of this case? So we keep piling up issues, and till the case is determined, what happens?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that if we are being fair to ourselves, okay, 100% of the blame, 100% of the blame is at the feet of the management of the facility.
Yeah.
No one else can be blamed.
No.
Right? Because the day the fire happened, it's not the first day that somebody has cooked at the premises. Listen, nobody can kid us on that one. It's not the first day, right? If people are cooking at the premises and the management has said, don't do it, what punitive measures have been? People should have their shops withdrawn from them so that you can't function there if you break certain rules, right? But the management is there and this has happened. Plumbing is not working, fire breaks out, shops are burnt, somebody's in charge while all of this is happening.
Anyway, we have Ruben Ame, he's General Secretary, Combined Traders Association. Thank you very much, Ruben, for your time.
Thank you very much, my sister. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine.
You must be excited that a market is open today.
Yes, not excited per se. We are pleased for the market being open, but there are other measures that we are looking for it to be taken.
Like what?
Before we be extremely excited.
Right. So tell us about these measures.
Okay, those measures we are talking about is one, those who supervise this shameful mess, this shameful disaster, by now should not be exposed, working to receive their salaries at the end of the month.
Who are we talking about
definitely
here?
Definitely, we want them to go.
So Ruben, yeah. So when you say that,
at the background.
When you say that those who supervised, who are we talking about here?
We are talking about the board chairman and the managing director.
Okay.
Because they were very much aware of all the cautions that were given to them by the fire service on 4 consecutive times from 2021 down to 10th January 2023. And then they sat aloof, they watched by or whatever happened to happen. So we want them to vacate their post whilst investigations go on.
Right now, for those whose shops have been affected, what is going to happen here?
Those whose shops
have been affected. Have you been able to talk to management on the measures put in place to bring some kind of respite to them?
No, management has not spoken to us yet. When they shut down the market, we were expecting that they would have started with us to discuss all this. They've not done that. So this morning, while the market has been open, we are going to meet management latest by 10 a.m., sit down with them, and then draw plans for the way forward.
Right. Now, what are you taking to them? Okay, so because I want to believe that you know the incident that has happened, you know the shops that have been affected. What are your demands to management when you meet them?
Our demands, the first demands we are making is that they should, as early as possible, find a place for them to start their trade again. Number 2, management and the board should be looking at compensating them. Number 3, as quick as possible, their shops should be restored wherever their trading centers are should be restored as early as possible for them to go back and trade. Those are our demands on the table.
Now,
if not,
yes,
then
go
we'll
on.
have to proceed to court.
Okay. Now, do you think that going to court is what will solve the problem? Because there are already cases in court regarding the flooding that happened some time back.
We have known management, and we know very well the management and the board have always tried to have this lackadaisical attitude, adulterism attitude towards the plight of traders. So the father I speak to you, there are 33 traders who are in court with management. If they want another class action against them, we are ever prepared to give them that class action. And whenever the judgment is passed and goes in our favor, we implement the judgment to the latter. We will not negotiate with anybody. So if they want us to go on the negotiation table, they should bring it now before we consider taking a class action against them.
Now, are you working with any timelines? Because people's lives are at risk now. People's lives depend on this.
Yes, we are working in timelines. As I speak to you, once we go to a meeting today, you will realize what they are, the next option they are giving to those who have been affected, and the whole area that has been cordoned off, how they should start their trade today and tomorrow. And by the weekend, by Friday, those places that have not been affected by the fire, they are the extension area. If they will be taken out, we want to know. If they will be added, then close to 10,000 shops, they should be able to tell us for these 10,000 shops from today onwards until maybe the next 2 or 3 months, they will be trading here. For that, we will demand. And we are demanding it now. We are not going to let it go. Don't worry, we are working on it. No. For now, we are talking now. Action now. No more deferring of action. Oh, don't worry, I'll do it this day. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. No, let's take action now. That's what we are doing.
Now, when you go to talk to them, and it is still the same thing that you don't want to hear, what is going to be your next line of action, especially in some? So when you go and talk to the management, I mean, when you talk to them today at 10, and then definitely it will be give us some time to deal with this and all that. How long?
It's very noisy. I'm finding difficult to hear.
So what I'm asking is, if you go talk to them, how long are you prepared to wait? Is it a week? Is it a month? Because of course they'll still need time to put all these things together and make sure that.
We are not prepared to say we are taking a month for them to find respite for the traders. What I'm telling you that from today to Friday, we want concrete action to be taken. From today until Friday, concrete action, a roadmap that will make our traders somehow relief. That's what we want, not about months. For months, no, we are not ready for that. They should give us a roadmap now. If they don't have it, they should start drawing before we meet them at 10 o'clock.
Ruben.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, so I wanted to just find out quickly from you. What are some of the issues at the market that need resolving right now?
The issues in the market that need resolution right now.
Yes.
Already we know about meter issues. We are almost on the verge of resolving that. Number two, another issue that needs resolution right now is to make sure the fire alarm system, the sprinklers, let me say the fire response system should be put to work now. Now, we cannot wait for anything to happen again.
So quickly, just not to break your thought, but the management made a point that the sprinklers were working, but they had turned it off because they overheat. What do you know about this?
My brother,
yes.
That's true. This is the issue. There are fire alarm systems that should go off once they detect smoke.
Yes.
The battery alarm system had expired long ago. They have not replaced it.
Okay.
They were one. Number two.
Okay.
The sprinklers and the pressure pump are connected to a pumping machine.
Okay.
Now, the pumping machine was leaking according to the management.
Okay.
They did not repair the pumping machine, i.e., by extension, they had to put it off.
Okay.
Because the pumping machine
so that's the real problem. Okay.
In perpetuity. So that it will come on by itself.
Yes.
And once it detects fire, the water will begin to come.
Yes.
It is because he had problems, he had not worked on it.
Yeah.
That is why the switch is off.
Okay. All right. Good. And then you are giving us the list. So the meter problems, the sprinkler problems, anything else?
Sure. And then you have to also make sure that the lesson out policy that we're giving to us, we follow that to the latter. It is not about, this one I will massage it, this one we will work on it later. No. Let the rules and regulations work.
Okay.
After that, we will demand that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate your time. Thank you. So there you have it. Ruben Ame, who is the General Secretary of the Combined Traders Association. Frema, so you can see a bit more light has been thrown on the issue. The sprinklers, right? So the management says, we turn it off because it overheats, right? That's not the true story, at least from what Ruben is saying. Because, no, let's be real. Kejetia Market is not the only place in Ghana that sprinklers work. A lot of the big hotels, big facilities, big buildings have sprinkler systems in them. Do they also turn them off because the sprinklers have been overheating? Is that what happens?
No, but you even ask yourself, what is the essence of the sprinkler?
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you get it?
You can't determine that, oh, the fire will come at 6 a.m., so we'll turn it off at, we'll turn it on at 5:45, so that when the fire comes, no, that's not the point of it.
And you see,
so if you fix you see, I have an automatic pumping system at home.
Yeah.
So I understand exactly what Ruben was saying. The system doesn't, the pump is not on until it detects a pressure gap.
Yeah.
Right? As soon as it detects a pressure gap, it comes on. Even though the main switch is on, right? The pump is not overheating because it's not working.
No, but you see, my point is, this is specifically put there to solve a certain problem.
Yes.
Or to
mitigate the fire.
Mitigate, to even prevent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it has a problem.
Yes.
Let's say that, yes, it has overheating problem. And we sit down.
Why would, exactly.
Do you get my point?
Exactly.
This is supposed to prevent. So it's like the first stopgap measure.
Yeah.
To preventing something major
from happening.
That little thing has a problem. We don't find the need to solve that problem.
Urgently.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
And then we sit down and the unexpected has happened. And then we come back and say that, yeah, we had to turn it off because it really. So why was it there in the first place?
Maybe the response is lackadaisical and funny.
Because sometimes, I'm sorry, but we don't think things through properly. You understand? And this is why something, and nobody wants to take responsibility. And like I said, everything looks cosmetic.
No, but that's what it is. That's what's happening. Because people don't want to take responsibility, they are cooking up nice little, stories that have been spiced up here and there to make us believe that, oh, okay, they are handling issues, and then we back off asking the questions. But you see, unfortunately for you, some of us have a little deeper understanding of, what should really be the situation. And so, if this is really the, you first of all, they say they are almost resolving the electricity meter issues. I hope it will be properly resolved, with at least, if not every shop getting a meter, every block getting a meter.
I think that there's some kind of practice in this country where I find very, very offensive. The fact that institutions, individuals, all of us make each other feel like it's a certain kind of privilege when you are given some kind of service.
Yeah.
This is what people...
It's annoying.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
We deserve it. It is our right.
It's a right.
Do you get it? I'm spending
privilege.
so much money to come take a shop.
Yeah.
And you will not put proper things in place. And it make you feel like you are even fortunate to get one of these shops.
Yeah.
When I'm not being given the shop for free.
Which is actually the posture and the attitude of a lot of
everywhere.
people. Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
You are even going to buy watch and the watch seller feels that I'm doing you a favor by selling the food to you.
Yeah.
You go to the hospital and the nurse feels that it's a favor that I'm attending to you.
You are lucky I'm here.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
What is that? I am coming to get a shop. The shop, and you see, maybe, Charlie, this country now, things are very frustrating because the thing is, sometimes the system is such that we can't even demand what you are due.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you don't take it like that, the sprinklers are not working.
Yeah.
The meters are not there.
Yeah.
It's either take it or leave it.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, go and sit down. Someone else is interested.
Yeah.
And it is because things are extremely difficult. We hold things in such a way that you must know somebody, you must be connected to somebody before you can even get a bed at the hospital. You must be connected to somebody before you can even get a shop. So people who even get the shops feel so privileged and they feel so important because, I know the chairman, I know the MD, I know this person, I know that person. Must it be so?
Yeah.
If I qualify, I must get it.
Yeah.
And if I'm getting it, it must be that
all
safety measures are in place.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anybody to get access to a
Yeah.
bed at the hospital.
Yeah.
If I'm sick, if I'm able to pay my bills, I should get it.
Yeah.
Why do I have to have money and still have to know somebody? Somebody has to give me a certain recommendation and all that. Why do we put ourselves through this?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's very frustrating. I just hope that the management, you're paying attention this morning. We are on your backs. We are not going to let this matter go because this is 100% at your feet. We cannot blame anybody else. Yes, because again, you can't spin a story to tell us that was the first time somebody was cooking. No, we know it's not true.
No, but really, even if that was the first time somebody was cooking, must there be a fire outbreak anytime somebody cooks?
No, but you see, the point is that you can blame it on an accident and say that this was the first time somebody was cooking and it's never happened before, and then...
No, that's exactly my point.
And I'm
do
saying
you get my point?
Well, I think that...
That is exactly my point, that when you establish the market, okay, you should have thought that somebody will cook.
Yes.
In that case,
Anticipate
and
it.
something happens.
Yeah.
Well, you can't put up such a magnificent
Structure.
facility and hope that even if you give rules and regulations, nobody should cook, everybody would adhere to this.
Yeah.
In the case where you get stubborn traders who would not even subject themselves to the do's and don'ts, what happens?
Yeah.
So because you think nobody will cook, you turn off the sprinkler.
No, but why should you think nobody will cook?
That is what I'm saying.
It's not the first market in Kumasi.
That is what I'm saying.
There are many other markets in Kumasi, and everybody cooks in their market in Kumasi.
That's what I'm saying. That even if it's the first time somebody is cooking, should there be a fire outbreak simply because somebody is cooking?
Yeah.
And in case that accident happens, should it affect about 33 shops?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I think that the management, you have a lot to answer for. Even the fact that you don't make it compulsory for every shop. Once you take a shop, you must have a fire extinguisher in there. That's a problem in itself. You see, we need to create multiple multiple layers of fire mitigation so that if one fails inadvertently, there's another one. You can rely on different measures. You see, think about it. When the fire started, right? Fires always start small.
Yeah.
Unless it was an explosion, fires always start small, right? Then it gets out of control because you're trying to douse it with water and maybe it's not a kind of fire that can go out with water.
Yeah.
We've been here when the fire service have come to educate us. It's not every fire that goes out with water.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but you have extinguishers. If you had extinguishers, 4 or 5 shops, when they bring their extinguishers out, there will be no fire, there will be no shop bent, there will be no millions of things, Ghana cedis lost.
Because you see, another thing is, in an area, in a space where everyone is free to sell whatever they need to sell, what if someone's operations actually needs fire?
Yeah, well, exactly.
What if they weren't cooking,
Yeah.
but the operation, whatever they do is such that we need a bit of fire?
Yes.
You understand? Sometimes in mending shoes and stuff like that, you
No,
need a bit of
that is
heat.
true.
You need this.
Yeah.
What if their operations
Need
require
fire for them to work.
Then what?
Yeah. You know, so listen, we need to up our game. And like I said, the management of the Kejetia Market, where our eyes are on you, we're not forgetting this.